I think the theme of 2020 is everything must be political no matter what.
Brian, is this going to be a politics episode?
I think it might be.
Well, after the big parts of the riot happened and the cooling down, right next to me, right on the border of my neighborhood too, we have seen companies get on their hands and fucking knees and basically beg them, don't come for us. Activision was actually only about 5 blocks from the riots. Well, the typical Twitter blue checkmark pronouns in the bio leftists that just show up afterwards and make everything political have to come for the gaming industry for the dumbest reason. And I'm going to Vice, which is already a dumpster fire, but I saw this and thought this was pretty funny actually. Written here by verified blue checkmark pronouns in the bio Twitter person Gita Jackson. The video game industry has no clue how to respond to the protests. The statement of solidarity with the black community have all come too little too late. I already have a problem with this title. Why? Why? Why do the game companies need to come out and make a statement about protest and politics? Just let them make games. Anyway, let's look at this stupidity. As the protests against police brutality and anti-black racism have arced across the United States, the video game industry has been slow to show its solidarity with black people in the community. When they do, some of these statements are shy of showing actual commitment to the cause. So here's my problem. Has been slow to show its solidarity with the black community? What do you mean by that? And why does a game company need to do that? Do you have protests, riots against police brutality, and what did the verified blue checkmarks do while sitting in their cozy New York ivory tower? Damn it, game companies, why are you not speaking up for these people? God, I swear to God, you have nothing to write about during Corona, do you? Video game development studios were behind the curve in terms of releasing a statement about the protests, which started to trickle in on Monday. Again, I have to say real quick, why were you sitting there in your chairs, like, awaiting a response from a game company with riots happening? But okay, you know, priorities. Alright. Last week and into the weekend, corporations like Amazon and Peloton, which makes bougie exercise bikes, released their memos decrying racism. Join them, EA released a statement both aligning with the protesters and postponing its Madden announcement stream. Nobody was looking for the brands to solve civil unrest with messages of healing and hope. Okay, then why are you sitting there expecting them? Their statements are, of course, all empty and hypocritical gestures. Exactly, so just ignore them. Why are you forcing them on your side? Peloton gave $500,000 to the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund, which is a drop in the bucket for a company that sells exercise bikes for over $2,000. Okay, you know what I have a problem with these people? Imagine if a billionaire came up to you and handed you $1 million. I imagine most sane people would be like, oh my god, thank you. But these people, when it's not their money, they're very, you could do better than that. Here's $1 million. Yeah, but you're worth 5.5 billion, EA. You can do better than that. That's such a rude response. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna skip over a part because this writer is terrible and jumps to Amazon, the bike company more, the NFL. This is supposed to be about games. Stick with games. Still, the gesture matters. Yeah, well, you could have fooled me when you snobbily turn your nose up at $1 million. It means that these companies need their black audience to survive. It means that they know that in order to keep black people buying their shit, they need to eat a little bit of crow in public based on the responses from the game development studios that I have seen. It doesn't really seem like they believe that. Do you really think like black people will go like, okay, there was some police brutality instance. I think black people are being targeted by the police. EA, what do you think? And if they say what do you want them to say? If they don't say anything, you're like, I'll never buy your stuff again. That's because how the activists think. Let me tell you something. Black people are gonna buy Madden. Have you ever sat down with a bunch of black people? Okay? I grew up in these areas. They're gonna buy Madden no matter what. They're gonna buy these games no matter what. Unless they actively sit there and say something insanely racist. But if they're quiet about this issue, they're not going to be like, well, EA, since you won't take my side on a completely irrelevant issue to games, you're not going to get my money. I'm sure the crazy activists think that, but do you really want their business? I think pandering to crazy people will hurt your sales more in the long run. So they pull up a statement from the tabletop game company Wizards of the Coast to make a point here, and it says, I'll read that for you for people listening. We stand in solidarity with those fighting racial injustice. We support those who are using their voices to affect systematic change, make their communities better places to live, and invest in the citizens and leaders of tomorrow by destroying your own communities and your businesses and killing people. I know most people are out of state. I'm just being a smartass. Wizards of the Coast will be making charitable donations to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, My Brother's Keepers Alliance, and Black Girls Code. Black Girls Code? The hell is that? We encourage those of you who can to donate, support, and engage with organizations, with your community, and with each other. Okay. It just seems like a cookie-cutter, corporate statement. But apparently, that's not good enough for the Twitter-verified journalists. Nowhere in this statement are black people mentioned. They brought up black legal defense funds and black charities. Oh, sorry, they didn't say...
I don't think I'm hitting the B hard enough in the word black. I'm saying black, but I'm trying to say black.
Positive he said black.
The company talks about donating to black-centric charities, but it doesn't say much, doesn't say why. Neither does it mention police brutality or Floyd's name at all, which feels weird when the protest is being done in his name. Oh my god, who the hell cares? This is a game company. Trust me, you know you live in a privileged country that's amazing when this is an issue for you. And you know you're one of those rich boozy chicks when you can literally see riots going on and brutality and destruction, and you decide this is an article that needs to be written about. Vice, you need to get better writers. For real, man. It's as vague as a statement it could possibly be. If you were to read this without knowing the news, you'd think that Wizards of the Coast was just generally saying that racism is bad. Do you think people don't read the news? People are literally rioting. I think they can look at that tweet and go, I know what that's referencing. But many of these journalists think people are as stupid as they are. A community manager for Wizards acknowledged that its statement was late, and also the difficulty of crafting such a statement for a collective of people. At the same time, I'm sorry it's hard, but it's literally the bare minimum. So basically they're bowing to the mob, because it's never good enough. You can give them $1 million, not good enough. You can make a statement and donate money, that's still not good enough. You can make an insanely partisan game, and that still won't be good enough. To the game companies whose corporate structures actually care and want to put out a statement, just put out your statement and shut up. Because these people, it's never going to be enough for them, and they will continue to come for you because they have nothing better to do. The journalists have nothing better to do than make everything partisan and political. Game companies, ignore them. I think Capcom had one of the best responses. I think the best response for most companies was to shut up, but Capcom, one of the few that gave a smarter statement. Capcom says, with respect to current events, Capcom will remain from game-related posts on our social media channels for the time being. We will also be postponing Capcom Pro Tour Online, which was scheduled to begin this weekend. To continue, we at Capcom support the black communities and everyone who is standing against racism and fighting for equality for all. We understand there are bigger, more important voices that deserve to be heard right now, and the spotlight belongs to them. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Just the smart part was the first paragraph. We're gonna shut the fuck up. Capcom, it's not going to be black people coming for you. It's gonna be white, bougie, New York journalists. Not all the people in the fighting game circuit. And I think they know this until the media companies come for them or something, because it wasn't enough. But that is the best statement is, oh yeah, sure, yeah, we support it, whatever. I'm gonna shut up now till this whole thing blows over. Bungie's statement from yesterday similarly names racism, but not anti-black racism nor police brutality. Moving on, it does provide links for people to educate themselves, including links to black-centric charities, and the companies commits itself to supporting its own black community, which is nice. Okay, good. You said it, which is nice. Shut up. Stop saying it's not enough. But part of the reason for the protest is to honor the memory of George Floyd and other black people killed by cops. So many black people have been killed by the police and then forgotten. Either another statistic or smeared as criminals after death. Not acknowledging the origin of the outcry, dodging the real reason why. Oh my god! All that was not necessary. Everything I read after that first line was not necessary. Just stop, journalists. Okay, here's another example of, yeah, they helped us, but it wasn't enough. But even when companies... Why did you start a paragraph with but? Jesus Christ. But even when companies name the issue, it still doesn't hit right. I'm glad Ubisoft specifically named George Floyd and systematic racism, but one of the largest companies in the industry is giving less money to the NAACP than a fancy exercise bike company. There we go. It's never enough. Oh, well, they didn't donate enough. Oh, but they didn't mention black people. Okay, they mentioned black people. They didn't mention anti-black racism and police brutality. Okay, they may have done it this time and donated and mentioned George Floyd and mentioned all this, but they didn't give enough money. Are you people ever happy? And then immediately start a sentence with and. I am a dyslexic with dysgraphia, and I have better grammar than these journalists, I swear. And how can I trust anything they say about anything? Well, they use their license of Tom Clancy's work to make games about DEA shooting up drug cartels. Okay, first of all, they're not DEA. Play the game. Second of all, are you defending cartels? How could the US shoot up cartels? Okay, social justice lady. You want to meet some real ones? Yell your social justice shit at them. Watch them cut your tongue out. If you're lucky. That's the good outcome. And they go, and American sleeper cell agents taking back the streets from looters and violent Riker inmates. I'm assuming you're talking about the Division. Anyway, taking back the streets from looters and violent Riker inmates. Oh no, the horror. First, they're saying it's controversial to play as cops right now. I'm shitting you not. How long before it's controversial to play as the US military? Because you know when we were playing the Division... Don't you remember all those minorities? Oh wait, most of the enemies were white. Yes, how dare the remnants of the US government stop people from looting and murdering innocent people? Das racist or something, I don't know. They tend to just yell words that make no sense. So essentially any game where America's the good guy is bad to these people. That's sad. So basically just goes on to complain is essentially every company didn't do enough and how much they essentially hate all of them and don't believe them and that they're still bad no matter what they do. At the end here, it's just, I'm happy to see and hear the solidarity, but again, stop starting your sentences with but. But the games industry has to clean its own house too and admit that it's part of the problem. So the moral of the story is, get on your hands and knees, lick our boots, give us your money, and it still won't be enough. No more making games about America being the good guy in other parts of the world, even though the majority of the time that's the case. I swear, it would be hilarious to round up my old game dev buddies, who are all minorities by the way, and just make a game where Trump is the hero, just to piss them off. I just want to see the meltdown. That'd be hilarious.